Uncle Mark here again, working on our 2011 Kia Sorento, doing a rear hub on the passenger side. It'll be same for the driver's side. This is an all-wheel drive. I'm going to do it step by step and follow along. We'll put torque specs in there and everything. Presenting this in 4K if you want to watch it on your TV in the house, just to get maybe a little better view of it, clearer picture. So doing a rear hub on this, it's an all-wheel drive Kia. I believe the hub is a little different if it's just a front-wheel drive. I'm just going to loosen them a little bit while it's on the ground. I'm not taking them all the way off. This is a 21 millimeter. I believe a 13/16 socket will work as well. I'm using a breaker bar for it. Now you want to jack it up underneath. Try and find a safe place. If your vehicle's rusty, you won't be wanting to do it on the rocker panel. And you don't want to be pushing the floor in either, so find frame or something. I'm not suggesting this, but this is where I'm going to jack it on part of a lower control arm. It goes into the subframe there. Once I do that, I am going to also use a jack stand. So get it up off the ground, and then should be able to take those bolts off, loosen them properly, the lug nuts, and take the wheel off. So that's what I did. I'm going to cheat a little bit now. I've got electric impact. I'll see if I can find a link to purchase one of these. I'll put it in the description. Once I get the tire off, we'll think about a little more safety. First thing we can do is put the emergency brake on, parking brake, I guess what you want to call it. Give it a good push right to the floor if you can, as far as you can. And now we can talk about putting a jack stand underneath in the back here. I think I'm going to put it in the middle part here. Make sure it's high enough. Then we can maybe let the jack down just a little bit on it. Just in case something happens to the jack, you never know. Better to be safe. I'm going to unplug the ABS sensor. I don't think you really need to, because the sensor is going to stay in place, but I just don't want to hook the wire while we're working on it and break something. So that should be good like that. Ooh, spider webs too. Now I'm going to leave these little guys on. The big bracket here for the caliper, there's one on the top and one on the bottom, and the cotter pin that's holding that nut on. So back to these guys here, the big ones. Top and bottom. Should be two of them holding that bracket on. Maybe we'll just do this cotter pin first. A little easier to do. Some kind of pliers to pull this one. Depends on how they've got it sitting on here. So there should be two sides of it. And it's going to depend on the type of... I'm trying to push it up here, but I think I'm going to have to use a different kind of set of pliers. Or a screwdriver and a hammer. Let me try again here. Can't seem to grab the other side of it. See what I'm talking about there? It's tight enough. I'm going to try and pry a little bit on something else here, but against maybe the studs. Or twist it around a little bit. Sometimes that helps, and you can reach the other side of it. I'm going to pry against the stud again. Trying to twist. And it's slowly coming out. I think the pliers are just a little too small. Try a couple more things here, but I think let's just get a set of vice grips. Skippable chapters included. I'll try it. They're titled too, so hopefully if you're looking for something, the next part of this, as I get more time, I'll try and add more and more chapters. So that takes quite a while. There we go. That came out. Should be a couple big Phillips on holding this whole assembly together. This one's been somebody's stripped this already a couple times, but it wasn't in tight, so that's good. Another one too, it's almost like I need a little bigger Phillips driver. But if you have trouble, I'm going to show you what you could use. This is nice to have. It's a little impact driver you'd use with a hammer. We'll grab a big Phillips out of here, make sure it fits in there. And I'll put it together. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to strike the end of it with your hammer. So all the force is going to go into the screw as it turns. So it shouldn't strip. Usually what happens is it strips because you don't have enough force to keep it in the screw, into the screw head. This will work. And it can either tighten them or loosen them, I guess, depending on if for some reason you have to go the other way. Just want to make sure it's going to turn the right way. It's got a left and a right indicator on it. Oh, there we go. And just, I'll put a link in the description. Bigger hammer probably will work even better. And it'll come out. What this screw is doing is just holding this whole drum assembly, rotor / drum, onto the hub. Now, 1 1/4 or 32 millimeter socket is probably going to work for taking this big hub nut off. Wow, that's tight. So what I'm going to try then is my jack, and then this is pretty dangerous, so if you're going to do this, be really careful. Eye protection. Probably what I should have done is put a pipe on it first, because it looks like it's bending just a little bit, but I thought, well, I'll gently see if it's moving or not. Again, a pipe on this probably would be even safer and more effective. I thought, well, I'll see if it's slowly working. A pipe on this handle without the jack might have just worked by itself too. Looked like it kind of was moving. This is a really solid breaker bar. I'm gonna let it down, and what I've noticed is it obviously has moved a little bit because the jack was all the way at the bottom when I originally did it, if you remember. So it has moved a teeny bit, but I just can't get it to move anymore. So I'm wondering, maybe I should go to plan B or C. If you look here as I'm spraying it, the cotter pin hole is covered, so it has moved a teeny bit, the nut. We'll spray it a little bit with some penetrating oil and see if that helps a little bit. Then I'm going to try and maybe retighten it just a teeny bit just to get it moving the other way. I'm hoping that that'll, sometimes it helps if you tighten them again and then try and loosen them. Oh, wow. And look at that. Came off.
Really?
This is reusable, so we'll save that nut. I think it's a castle nut, isn't that what it's called? Now you remember we had the brake on, so let's take that parking brake off, so then we can move the rotor around a little bit. 14 millimeter wrench for the back here. Just have to make sure you're, depending on which side you're doing. This is the passenger side, so I'll knock these towards the front of the vehicle. If it was the driver's side, it would be the opposite. Moving towards the back of the vehicle, I believe. Lefty loosey, right? And get the bottom one here. I didn't take the top one out all the way, just loosened it just because I want this bracket to hold on. Kind of should self stay on there because it's around the calipers kind of holding on to the rotor. Get this one done too. Not much room in here. It might be easier with a socket, maybe, although there's still not much room. Still be able to swing the handle. So get that one out. Set that aside. I'll try and clean that up later, the threads on it. And this top one now we can take out by hand. You want to hold the caliper with your other hand. Of course, I'm holding the camera. I'm going to set that somewhere where you don't hurt it. I'm going to hang it with one of these caliper little hanger tools. I guess you could use bungee cords, whatever it's going to take. You just don't want to stretch the brake hose. Lock this back and forth. And it's off. Oh, parking brake shoes. Look at that. So there's the back of the bolt coming all the way through there. You can see the threads on it. So there's one there, just to give us an idea where they are on the other side. And then think I see one in there, and wherever that other one is, that must be the top one, bottom one, somewhere in there. Anyway, let's look from the back and see if we can reach them. It's hard to get the camera in here, there's so much stuff in the way. I feel it with my finger. There's one there, that's the bottom one, there was one on top. I can't really show you the bottom one here either, but you'll be able to see it when you start looking, and the top one there. So let's get around here and start doing it. So we can get it on 14mm socket. It'd be nice if this socket was a little shorter. This is a deep socket, so I'm running into that spring by my hand there. Trying all sorts of different ways to keep it on and give it enough leverage. Okay, I'm going to use this tool that I bought here a little while ago. It's almost like having a pipe on it. I found it works on this Craftsman tool. I've used it on a couple different ones. It's more for wrenches, but it does work on a ratchet as well. Hopefully the ratchet can take it. That's the next problem. This would have been a lot easier too if I could have had the vehicle just a little higher off the ground. See it turning. Probably could, it's a little tight. Probably could just spray a teeny bit of some kind of a lubricant on it, not getting it on the brakes. This is a M12 by 1.25 bolt in case you lose it. Get the bottom one out too. This one I'm going to spray just a teeny bit just to get it on the bolt. As it comes out, oh, much easier. Just not fighting with it. So once you get that guy out, we can go to the other side. Bottom there. Now this was tough to get in here too. There's not much room. I had to hold it on kind of with the handle from something else. Plus you're trying to hold it tight enough against there so that it doesn't either strip the bolt or break your socket. Once we got that all kind of positioned, shocks in the way as well, plus the lower control arm. It's tight in here. If you find this helpful, could you maybe give me the thumbs up? That way YouTube knows that we're trying to do a half decent job here and you've saved yourself some time or learned something. So once you, again, I needed an extension because I just could not turn it enough, and of course the CV joint's kind of in the way, so I did move it up just a little bit into the boot, a little bit, just trying not to wreck the boot. And eventually, if you have enough leverage, you will get it off there. At least you can see this is not going to be easy. Try and get that bottom bolt out. I think what I ended up doing is doing the top one, loosening that one first. And here we go with that breaker bar kind of thing again. And then once I got that one out, I finished up with the bottom one. Same kind of bolt. There's the bottom one there. Just get it out and pretty much done. At least for this part of it. And enough of that. I'm probably torturing you too much, but I want to show you it's not super easy. Now I got all 4 bolts off. This thing is just sitting there. Well, sitting there with the backing plate. It's kind of stuck to the backing plate. How are you going to get it off there? So I just thought maybe I could kind of hammer it a little bit, chisel it away from it. I don't want to hurt the backing plate. I don't want to take the brakes apart. It's prying just gently against the brakes, but you could hurt those too, the parking brake. Just trying to get under there a little bit, hoping it'll just break free. Somehow it's got to come off of here. A few more taps. You kind of see it just sitting there, but it's on the backing plate, and the backing plate is on that other part. I don't know what you want to call it, like the axle or something. Couple whacks, hoping that it'll just shake it off a little bit. And we'll have to pry it. Oh, there's a washer in here, it looks like. Pull that out of there. Couple more taps. Couple more pries. And look at that. Finally came off without too much trouble, I guess. Listen to that. Definitely was a hum. Not sure how I'm going to sit this back in there. probably try and get one of the bolts. You can see how it sits there. Hey, oh, let's take a look at this. There's your little tone ring for your ABS. And that's that little ring there that the sensor is picking up some stuff on. A little dirty. I see some rust sitting down on the bottom. Guess the guy could blow that out or brush it out. Don't want to fiddle with it too much. Just stick my bolt through the back there and try and get this backing plate on. Just held there by at least one bolt. Get my new hub. It's got a certain way it's got to go on. There's two different ways. It only goes on one way, just the way the orientation of the holes are. You'll see that as soon as you try and put it on. Try and line that up with that bottom bolt that I've got there. And hopefully I can thread it in there. Of course, it's going to have to sit, not cockeyed kind of thing. It's got to sit straight and flat. This is where an extra person would be nice, which I didn't have. But I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try also this, I don't know what this is called, an infinity wrench, or basically it doesn't have any teeth, so you just have to barely move it. Whereas my other ratchet there, a click was like quite a bit of movement in the handle. So this is going to make it a little easier for the tight space. I don't know how long this took to put this part on. I bet you I wasted half an hour trying to thread those bolts in, and it felt like they were threading in, and they were just spinning either on the backing plate or the other part that the backing plate is sitting on. So expect us to spend some time with that. Don't force them. You want them to go in easily. So you don't want to strip them. If they are going in too tight, back it off, try it again. So basically, there's the bolt again. I thought it was threading in, but it wasn't. Let me see if I can line it up. I'm going to use one of these thumb ratchets. They're reversible. It'll be easier to hold on the socket. Then I don't have to move around as much. May help you, may not. I thought it helped a little bit, but again, not much room. Look at that. I'm trying to get my fingers around the shock. Maybe a guy should have tried to take the shock off. But where do you put the shock if you undo the bottom? You probably have to pull the whole shock out. Just more there to see you're going to have to twist your fingers, and I've got long fingers. Again, maybe with two people, that might be the ideal choice. Another idea I had is why not just put the nut on your CV joint now, and it can hold it all kind of on there so it doesn't fall off. I was trying to find maybe an extension that would be a little smaller than the bolt, that maybe you could stick an extension in there to kind of center it a little bit. So that was kind of a plan for a bit. I think I ended up using a quarter inch. This is a 3/8 inch extension, but a quarter inch fit in there nice. And I got a couple of them in there just to kind of steady it a little bit. It helped. You're going to think your best bet's having a buddy help you. So finally figured out how we're going to kind of steady all this together. You can see it's just, I've never had so much trouble with one of these. I don't know why, if it's maybe because it's all-wheel drive and there's a little more, like, harder to get your fingers in here or something. Plus, you're working on the ground. Yeah, I've got it raised, but it'd be nice if it was a little higher again. And a friend helping would be a great help. So with the camera out of my mouth and on a stand now, just then you're not wobbling around, I'll torque these down. Torque should be about 65 foot-pounds. Of course, you'll have to do that with a torque wrench. Yowzers. Anyway, I'm going to loosen this just so then I don't think it's being torqued. I don't want to forget. So if I see it sticking out, I'll know I didn't get to that yet. Because I still have to put the brake drum back on, rotor, whatever. And you'll see it's got those two little screws that hold it on. If for some reason you don't have the screws, not a really big deal. The rim's going to hold it in there, in place. But I'm going to try and line it up, put the screws on just so they're there. And it should be easy enough, except for some reason it won't go on. Now, if you look really close, it looks like 4 of these studs are fitting, but for some reason, well, I was thinking it was the brake drums or the shoes. But no, it's, if you look nice and closer, you'll see the bottom stud isn't going into that hole there. See, I'm trying to get it to fit. Well, what's going on? This isn't a new drum. It should fit on there. Couldn't really notice too much, but I see it now. And I finally figured it out. There's something wrong with that. Did I drop this hub before I installed it and, you know, made that stud not in the right angle?
Interesting.
Anyway, that was the problem. Here they all line up now, as you can see, and it still won't go on. It's like, what's going on here? Came off, okay. So there must be something with these shoes. So I'm going to try and center them a little bit. Get this to go back on. And I'll tell you, not going to go on. So I thought, well, maybe the emergency brake is still a little tight, because we did have it on earlier, although we took the drum off. So I'm going to try and loosen the cable here, just, you know, ever so slightly. Try and push the shoes back in. Then I thought, well, maybe I'll back off on the shoes as well. Just in to go in a little bit more. Then I can get the drum / rotor back on, and if we need to tighten them, no big deal. Try and push them together. Did that. Tried to put our drum back on. No dice. Fiddled around with this for quite some time. At this point, I'm getting tired, so I got some tire chalk out, and I thought I'm just going to draw on the front side of these shoes and see, you know, if one side's scraping or not. Are they both the same? By this time, like I say, I'm tired, so try and push it back on. I figured the chalk will rub off of the shoes, and that didn't seem to work either, because they both have the same amount of chalk on them.
Looks like it's probably all equal.
You understand what I was trying to do, though, right? So this time I tried, because the shoes are exposed in the back there, tried tapping them a little bit. I thought, you know, between the two, tap one side, tap the other side, it should slip on, and that didn't seem to work either.
Come on, baby.
Not really sure what I disturbed, so now I tried rubber hammer, rubber mallet, trying to get them to sit on properly. Of course, you guessed it, didn't work. So then I figured I'm going to try and turn the adjuster here, get them to go in a little bit, and the shoes should retract a little more. Played around with that a little bit and finally got it to fit. Now I'm going to have to come back to it later and try and just adjust them. Now we've got our caliper bracket bolts, the two of them there that need to go in, and they can hold the caliper on. The bolts are kind of rusty, so I thought I'm going to clean them up on my wire wheel. They should go on anyway. They came off, right? But I thought, well, I'm going to clean them up. These I have to take them off another time, and if I have to do brakes later on, you know that I'm probably going to be cursing if I didn't do this already. So got both of them nice and clean. Got my caliper here now. Caliper with the brakes and everything. Get it to sit on there. And then from the back, we'll put those two bolts on. Just slowly hand tighten them. This is the top one. We'll do the bottom one. I didn't put that other one in fully tight yet, because I figured I might have to move this around a little bit. And if it's snug, it might just make it a little tougher. Of course, then tighten, or at least snug up the two of them. Then we're gonna tighten them to specs, 60 foot-pounds. The reason I'm not using my torque wrench again is the handle's too long, and it won't fit in here. Again, if it was on a hoist, that would have helped. Put my two screws in, put this baby back on. Now I'm going to put the brakes on, parking brake again, and we're going to torque this guy up. I had it snug already, so I want to torque it.
Wow.
Torque spec for this should be 159.1 foot-pounds. This is the important torque here. Clicked. If it's too tight or too loose, hard on the bearing, your bearing's going to wear out too early. Now, this castle nut has Well, the reason for this, it's got a cotter pin that'll go through the hole. And actually the castle nut's just in the way a little bit, so I'm gonna just have to tighten it just a teeny bit more. I don't wanna tighten it too much because I don't wanna throw the torque off too much. But we need that cotter pin in there, and that'll hold this castle nut from turning. Just about, just a little bit more. And again, you don't want it over tightened or under tightened because it's hard on the bearing and the bearing will not last. And we've gone through all this work to get this hub bearing on. Try and tap it in. And what are the chances that there's one of the wheel studs is in the way? Really? Oh well, what can you do? I'll try and straighten it out a little bit more, get it to go in there. Use something else to try and tap it in. Get it in as far as we can. And pliers and bend this baby up, bend that one down. Depends on which way you like to do these. This way I'm going to do her. And that should be good. Should be locked in place there. We should sure hope so, huh? Now, we'll go around and take our jack stands up. So we're just about done here. So we want to make sure this is lifted high enough so you can get that out of there. Safety first. Actually, while you're under here, check your tire too. Make sure it's got some air in it. And I see this one is low. Not sure what it's at. Check that once in a while, because one of these days you're going to be stuck somewhere. You know what's going to happen. Stuck and a flat tire. Now don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. And the next videos we have out either on this vehicle or another one, you'll get notification right away. We'll get these nuts put on. I'm doing them by hand. I don't want to cross thread them. So by hand, I'm going to get them all started. And then if you want to cheat and use something like an electric impact, which I'm going to use this unit here. I'll see if I've got a link in the description we can maybe put to it. It's been okay. It's not super crazy. You'll want to torque your wheel nuts now in a crisscross pattern to 80 foot-pounds, I believe is what they want. I do them to 100. I like that. Check your owner's manual. It should be in there. Once that's all done, take the vehicle off the jack, go for a little test drive. Be careful. Test your brakes just to make sure everything's working good. Thanks for watching. Hey, here's some bloopers. I didn't notice this till later on. Ooh, I don't know what happened here. It jerked and then the picture went in the corner like that and it stopped. This one I had a little bit of trouble with my lighting. Couldn't get it to sit the way I wanted it to. It's like that's usually a problem. It's hard to get good lighting sometimes. And well, then another issue with lighting, it unplugged.
Really?
Or I bumped the switch off on it. And then of course the camera went upside down as well. That can happen quite a bit too. And oh, here we go again with the camera falling. If you're wondering what to watch next, you can check the video up in the top left-hand corner, or top right-hand corner is a Kia Sorento playlist for repairs. And in the middle, towards the bottom there, you can subscribe if you haven't already.